Hi everyone, it's Lisa here again. Just thought I would say hello and see how things are, and I'm just out again for my walk and just enjoying the countryside, and I think it really helps revive your spirit and your soul sometimes, just going out. And while I've been walking, I've just been praying. I think it's just so therapeutic to come out here and to just walk around and just to pray and just to enjoy the lovely weather while we can. This is one of the tracks, one of the paths that I often go on, and the blossom is still beautiful down here. There's loads of it. So I thought I'd just enjoy it. Now this path, when I came up the other day, I think it was last week when I came up here, I actually didn't venture up this path because it had been raining quite a lot. So it had been really warm, lovely weather, and then all of a sudden, very, very quickly, it changed, and it was wet and it was cold and it was chucking it down and it was hailing and there were thunderstorms, and this path that you can see just up here was just so muddy that really needed wellies to come up here. So I didn't venture up here at that point in time, but as you can see, it's all dried out again. So that really, I was in my winter coat last week. It was really odd being in my scarf and my winter coat in when it had been so sunny and warm. So it was just a complete change, and it just reminded me of how seasons can come and go and seasons change. It reminded me of the Bible verses in Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1 to 8. So I'm just going to read those. It says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing." I think we're in a time of refraining from embracing at the moment, when we're not able to be with each other and greet each other. Often we as Christians love to hug each other, and I really, really miss greeting my friends and my family and just saying hello to people in person. So a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to cast away, a time to tear, a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. So these verses are really clear. It says, verse 1 again, "For everything there is a season and time for every matter under heaven." And I think particularly in this season, where it's an ongoing season, we'll be 7 weeks on Monday since the lockdown, and it's Thursday now. It's actually 7 weeks since I've actually been away from home, staying with relatives, and I'm really grateful that I can be with them, but I'm also missing my home and my friends and my church family and people that I work with. But as the Bible verses in Ecclesiastes say, there is a time and a season for everything. Just look at these beautiful hedgerows and the trees and the blossoms on the trees, and there's a little orchard that I've walked around recently, and you see it blossoming and then you see the fruit coming. So there's a time and a season for everything, and this time and this season of lockdown and this time and this season of restriction will end. So God has promised, he says it in the Bible, that there is a time and a season for everything. There's a time when this season will end and we will look back and we will either regret or we will be happy about the season. Well, there might be times when we might not be so happy. We'll be thankful for the season. I'm really thankful that in this season I'm able to spend more time with some of my family. I'm able to pray with them and take communion with them each day and pray for the leaders of the country and our pastors and other people, and also I know that there's also been a time to weep and a time to mourn, because some people in this season have lost a lot. Not only have they lost jobs and finances, they've lost other things. They've lost people. Some families have been devastated by losing family members, and we share in that mourning, we share in that sadness. this is a time and a season, but there will be a time and a season to laugh and to have joy and to have freedom again in the way that we are used to having freedom in the West, in being able to move around and do what we want. But in this time and season, I think it's a lovely time and season to just reflect and enjoy our blessings and the grace of God, and allow God to show us new things and teach us new things, and teach us to be thankful for all of the things that we have that are blessings in our life in this season. So I'd encourage you every day just to at least thank God for one thing and focus on that, and just keep thanking God for that, because this is a season that will end and a new season will come out of it. See you later. Bye.